Hello, Feeyola Dawood.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. How are you?
Walaikum salam. It's so lovely to have you with me today.
Thank you so much. I've been really excited and anxious about this. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for considering me.
I hope the anxiety is because you're so excited to share your wonderful news.
Yes, I'm nervous and excited. It's been a dream and alhamdulillah, it's finally here.
Awesome. So you are almost going to be a published author of your very first book. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I've worked at it and I'm really looking forward to actually having it in my hand, my little baby.
Awesome. We have a mutual friend, Isabel. And
yes,
when Isabel reached out to me and told me that she has this amazing friend who is writing this incredible book and she is so excited for you, I was very thrilled to meet you and hear about the book. And I know we'll speak about that a bit later. But what I really wanted to talk about today was how you experienced moving to the UAE. I know that's a question that so many people have to ask us. But before we get into that, won't you tell us a bit about yourself and where you're from and how you ended up, in the UAE?
Yeah, so I started humbly with being in Durban, moving up to Escort, and I've lived there practically all my life. On many occasions, I wanted to move out of Escort, but then were very crucial years for my kids, so we stayed. And when this opportunity came about, I said, no way am I going to let this out. I'm going to grab it with both hands. My kids are all adults. My eldest son is 30, going on to be 30 in December. My middle son is 28, and then my daughter is going to be 22 in the next few months. So yes, all married, alhamdulillah, all married. Both my sons have kids now, and my daughter is going to be bringing one soon, inshallah. Now, yes, they've grown. My son is an educator like me. My other son works in South Africa, and my daughter is also in South Africa. She's doing her final year on accounting. So yeah, my birds have all flown the cage, I should say that. But it's good. They all doing very well on their own. And my one son lives in Abu Dhabi. My eldest son, he lives in Abu Dhabi. So at least there is a little bit of family and company here for me. Tends to get lonely when you come here, but after a while, you get used to it. Yeah. It was just in passing that someone sent me a message to say that they're looking for a teacher, looking for teachers here. And I looked at it and I immediately found the lady that had sent the message. And I said, I'm really interested and something that I've always wanted to do. And I think I pestered her and her husband for the entire year. Please do not forget me when the interviews come up. Please do not forget me. It was a long process. I must tell you that. It was a very long process, but it was worthwhile. It was a decision made at the right time. We always say God makes things happen at the right time. It was a decision at the right time.
Yes.
And I grabbed it.
I think as a teacher, it's so difficult to find a job that really provides everything that you need. And I know in your situation, you were a single mother when you did move over. So I think it's very important to understand what it means to come over to another country being a single mother. I know when I came, I was single. I hadn't been married yet and obviously didn't have my children. So I wanted us to really talk about our different experiences because South Africans are always interested in coming over. So I wonder, how did you apply?
I came in with a recruitment company called Phoenix Scout. I don't think they're in existence anymore, but it worked out very well because whilst I was applying and when I went for my initial first interview, scanning interview, the guy met my son and he was very impressed with my son. So he offered him a job, not as a teacher, as a recruiter. So my son came here first before me, and then with him, he started recruiting a lot more of the educators from South Africa. The paperwork was horrendous because there was just so many things to do and so much of paperwork to gather. It took me about a year to get everything in order and to eventually come here. So the paperwork was quite a bit. But other than that, everything else was easy, relatively easy. When we got here, as I said, the person that had recruited me, Mr. Mohammed Sidat, he and his wife, they became good friends. So they were there as support and backup. You need these things when you come over. You don't know anybody. And coming in the first flight, when we came down, there was quite a bit of us. I think there's about 100 of us. And we all were taken to the the Ibis Hotel. And that's when we made our friendships, our groups, and those friendships has blossomed over the years. We need each other. We need each other's strength. We needed each other's support. Everything was so new to us.
Yes, when I came over, I was single and I was so nervous about coming over. But I applied with a friend at that stage, and we both got a job in the same school. And we applied with a company called SA Recruitments. And
Yes, yes.
they placed us in an international school, and we came together. And that was such an exciting time, two girlfriends heading off,
Yes.
into the sunset to start a new life. So that was very interesting.
You're talking about excitement, and I remember the first week when we were here because we weren't allocated schools or anything at that time, so it was like a holiday kind of thing, and we went sightseeing. And a friend of mine said to me, "You haven't started working as yet, but you're sightseeing." It was actually one of the best times, meeting new people, new personalities, and just clinging together, irrespective of color, creed, race, anything, just like one big family. It was really, really exciting.
And I think everybody comes kind of in the same process and along the
Yeah.
same journey. So basically what happens is, you hear about it, you send an email, and then you get a response. And usually it's happening around July, August, the beginning of August. And within 2 weeks, you can be in the UAE. And people don't realize how quickly it is. So I think anybody who wants to come over needs to make sure they have their passport ready to go. They have things like their degrees attested. There are
Yeah.
companies that you can research online and get that done for you at a small fee.
Yeah.
It's also worth going onto Facebook groups and really finding out what people have done and
Yeah.
getting involved in communities that are already living here and that can really advise you. I mean, that's something I wish I, would have
Yeah.
done.
That's what had happened basically with us also, because the waiting process was so long. And, am I going? Am I getting that golden ticket? And it was, as you said, we were on Facebook groups. We made our own groups in South Africa, like those teachers that went for the interviews and that were selected. It was like nerve-wracking because you have to hand in resignations back home. You have to spell up and you don't know whether you're coming or you're going, but it all works out at the end.
And I think that's the interesting observation when you have a family and when you're single. Because when you're single, you just pack up your bag and head off, and it's all about the adventure and getting lost in the moment. But when you're moving with your children, you really have to be planned ahead. You need to know exactly what school they're going to, exactly, where you're going to live. And like you say, selling properties and things like that. So I think you need to really understand what is your, background before, jetting over and preparing for that.
Like, because my daughter came over with me, I mean, not immediately, because you know how it works in South Africa, you have to get everything sorted out. So I had to come in and sort my visa out and my residency before I brought her in. Because of our terms also being different, she went to schools and we went to the different schools, but they all wanted her to go a year back because their year starts in August. And she didn't want to do the year back. So she applied online on her own. She found a school in America. She enrolled herself and she just carried on. So that was good. At least she was tech savvy. So she knew what she had to do and she didn't have to wait on me. So it took a lot off me that she found her own school and she kind of like went on with her studies, because it was like coming into the new school. We didn't come in August. We came in January. So it was the middle of a year. So it was a lot of things that, needed to be seen to, and there's a lot of running around initially.
That's so responsible of her. And it's also good for people to know that there are different times that you can come. Generally, the school year in the UAE starts at the end of August, and the year runs through until June.
End of June.
Yes. And so there are breaks in between, and sometimes people leave, and there are openings that become
There's always openings with the education.
Yes.
People are always leaving and it's always looking for new teachers.
But more often than not, there are so many opportunities. And I think people really need to, trust themselves and be brave enough to come, whether you're single or whether you're in a family. It's a great opportunity. Just give yourself 2 years and do it. I mean, there's nothing to lose.
There's
Really.
nothing. Yes, I always said the same. And like initially when I came here, everyone was like so negative. You go in, you don't know what to expect. What if it doesn't work out? And my experience and this experience. And I said to my friend, the two of us that were coming together, I said, you know what? You're going to go there and make your own experiences. don't take anybody's negative experiences and think that, this is how it is. Everybody makes their own experiences. Live and experience it for yourself, and then you can decide whether you want to go back or stay. I actually came with the mindset of being here for a long period of time. I didn't want to make it just 2 years. So I had that in my head, I'm going to stay here for as long as I can stay here.
Yes.
And it's worked out. Alhamdulillah, it worked out for me thus far.
So how many years have you been here now?
I'm here from 2014.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So it worked out, as I said. Opportunities come when the Almighty knows best when to give it to you. It was at the right time. I grabbed it. It came. It worked out.
Yes.
And I'm still.
I believe, God does have the plan, and then he provides. He gives every provision. He brings people into your life that actually help you to achieve your goal and, and help you to find your purpose, which is.
And it's so true what they say, people are here for like different seasons. Some people say, but like, I knew her and I don't, but it's not like you were only put into my life for a certain reason. It was maybe I was put into your life for a certain reason.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's how we work. Yeah. That's how the human race works, I should say.
True. I would like to know, what were some of the biggest concerns and worries that you may have had before you came over? And did you actually come to realize that they were not necessary, or was it something that you had to work through?
To be honest with you, if I feel I want to do something, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it. So before I came here, I had psyched myself up, I'm going, irrespective of the challenges or whatever, I'm going and I'm going to make it work. And with that mindset, I came here. So when I got here, I didn't find it difficult to adjust. Number one, I think, because our culture is the same, right? And also because my kids came not very long after me. So it wasn't like, I'm in this black little hole and I don't know what's happening. And so I was able to find my way by making friends. I met this amazing taxi driver and he's still my driver up until now. And the people that I met became part of my family.
Moving over, you really need to depend on humanity. I think you're so vulnerable and so many people are in the same situation. So I think a positive attitude is so important, and you certainly have a positive attitude, and it definitely shows. You mentioned that the culture was the same as yours. Being Muslim, you felt very comfortable. I'm sure it was almost soothing to hear the sounds of the mosque and know that you were so welcome for just, celebrating your religion. I think for my parents, they were so worried, and I think a lot of parents can identify with this. My dad especially was like, you're going to a Muslim country, you're going to be covered up, you're going to be oppressed, your women are oppressed. And, he's obviously just didn't understand.
A lot of countries think that,
Yes. And of course, my dad is a very intelligent man, but you just don't understand the day-to-day lifestyle of a place unless you've lived there.
Yeah.
And of course, on the news, you hear all the horror stories. So, I just want to send a message out there to parents, it's good to research the country that your kid is going to, if they are going there alone. It's also good to network with people who are already there and just understand, are you in Abu Dhabi? Are you in Dubai? Are you in Saudi? Are you in Qatar? These are actually different places, even though people think Dubai is like a whole place. It's actually, there are different emirates and different countries. So do your research, know exactly where you're going in the UAE, understand the laws, make sure you are able to follow things. But things have changed, it's much more relaxed and open-minded. And just this last
people are liberal.
Yes, just this last
liberal
year.
within bounds. Liberal within bounds.
Respectfully so. Even just during this last Ramadan, they actually had the restaurants open in the malls.
Yeah.
So, things are opening up in a way that is more accommodating. And of course, now there's this unity with Israel, which opens travel between the countries. So God is really bringing people together. And I think it's so beautiful.
True.
Apart from challenges, what were some of the wonderful experiences? What were some of the highlights or the real takeaways from you coming over?
I think it's meeting different people, different walks of life. When you like in our little South Africa, And you think, wow, I can hear this lovely accent where this person is coming from, like, and like you're curious. And then you come here all of a sudden, and then you like meet these people. And I don't know, maybe growing up, I always felt like a person from another country is so much more different from me. It's the accent for one and things. But like coming here and meeting them, and you realize, you know what, we're all the same. We all have the same issues, and we all have the same victories, and we all have it's all the same. My house is never empty, to be honest with you. My Friday lunches are always have people at home. And it was so amazing to have so many different cultures sit at my table and enjoy a meal with me. And we've built that strong foundation of friendship. And I'm telling my mom the other day, I said, Ma, do you realize that I have a friend in basically every country in the world? So anywhere I go, I know somebody there. That is like on its own so amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And like my friends will tell me, Fee, when are you coming to visit? Or please come and we'll have and I just want to travel again, but obviously with COVID. But that was one of my highlights of it. Meeting people, forming friendships, having people sit at my table and enjoy a meal with me and feel welcomed in my home. Those were the things that really, really uplifted me, and it just made me feel so full.
I love that. And that really resonates with me. Learning how to deal with different cultures. I think for me, the highlights would definitely be just traveling. Being single, I didn't have to really put money anywhere except for savings, but definitely had to enjoy ourselves, And I remember my first salary, the first thing I did was just go shopping. I just bought so many shoes.
Yes.
And I
you want to say, okay, I should take my daughter, like, okay, let's go to the mall, like anytime, let's go to. And another thing that like really like fascinated me was the safety factor. I mean, being a single woman with a little girl, like, we could walk to the mall and come back in the middle of the night, and we were like so safe, and she could go out on her own, and I didn't have to worry about what time is she back, because of the safety issues, so that was a plus.
Amazing. So yeah, there are a lot of good things that can come out of that. And when I moved over, I was like in my mid-20s, and I actually met my husband here, going out. And it's actually, that's one thing I do want to say, going out in the UAE, it is possible. There are places you can go and just chill with your friends, and I actually met my husband on a night out, and now I'm married to him, and I have four young boys now. So,
wow.
I mean, of course, I married a husband out of my culture. He's not South African. My husband is from Belarus. So that's also something that you're exposed to people from different places, and it adds so much richness, to your life, to your relationship. And so, yeah.
My advice to anybody wanting to come out here, you have to come out here with an open mind. And you cannot take my experience, your experience, and make it like your own and say, oh, you know what, it's going to work out because hers worked out, or it's not going to work out because hers didn't work out. You have to come here with an open mind, take your South African cap and leave it back home, and come out here and come out for a visit initially and then take it from there. You have to be strong. You really have to be strong.
Yes. So. And I mean, if you are a teacher, you have to be ready for a complete shift,
Complete shift. Because the thing is and you have to be totally flexible.
Yes.
Your mindset has to change.
I remember being so overwhelmed with the new curriculum and looking at, the way things are. But you know what? Before you know it, you adjust. And if you're from South Africa specifically, I mean, we are absolutely, flexible. We're robust. We can work,
Yes, we can. And the good thing is, like, we don't have technology back home. But we make it work. So this is like easy, but not easy also, as I said, you have to be flexible.
Yeah, no, we definitely sharpened our technological skills in this country.
We really did, especially now with this COVID and we're teaching from home. Yeah.
So fast forward 7 years later, and you have decided to write a book. Tell us, what is the process that you go through to write a book? Incredible.
It's a long process. It was just a gift. I wanted to give my daughter something personal. I'm a person like this. I like to give something personal. I feel it means more, especially a young girl. So what I started doing, I just started writing random little thoughts down. Like, dear daughter, if you are faced with this, this is what you need to do, like just random thoughts. And it just built up from there. And I remember when I went on Umrah, and while I was sitting there, I said, Yalla, I want to do this. And if it's for me to do it, everything will kind of work its way through, and I left it there. And I came back and I started the book again and shelved it after a few and started it again and put it away after a few because of work pressures and stuff like that. And eventually, by chance, a friend of mine sent me a Zoom meeting. And he says, Fee, you know what? Join this meeting. There's going to be this author there, and maybe you get some tips from them. Because I'm always writing and sending to my friends. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I attended the meeting, and I met the editor, author, Nazreen Variava. She's also from South Africa, but she's living in Turkey. So the person that hosted the meeting, Athia Durat, I spoke to her and I said, you know what, I need to speak to Nasreen. Can you just pass on just a poem or something? And Nasreen seemed very interested. And when she met up with me and she says, look, there's lots of potential in it. It's something totally different. Go for it. And that's when I started with it. And that's when it became more intense. So although I was giving my daughter life lessons on the phone every day, do it like this or whatever, coming from South Africa, coming from conservative Indian families, but I've taken on topics that I felt were just like kind of brushed under the mat. I said, we have to deal with it. We were not taught what to do at certain ages. We were not told, this is how you need to look at life, or this, you put there and we dealt with it. Alhamdulillah, it worked well for us. But the world is changing. Always, constantly, and our daughters coming up, they have so much more to deal with. So I'm hoping that the little advice that I'm giving in my letters will help them, mold them, not giving them like the right to be rude and aggressive, but it's subtle letters that will help mold them into thinking for themselves. Because as I said, we come from South Africa, we're conservative people. It's a lot of us that are out here that are opened up, but back home, people are still thinking conservatively,
So,
and I'm talking about not personally, sorry, I'm talking about personally from my experience being an Indian, being a Muslim. I'm not talking, as I said, about anybody else's experiences.
yes.
And I just felt that there was so much I can share with my daughter. I've been there, I've done that, I've worn the T-shirt.
So, do you think that the topics in your book are universal, or do you feel like they're tailored for just South African audience?
No, I wouldn't say it's tailored for South African audience, because everywhere in the world we have young women. And everywhere in the world they are dealing with the same thing, they're dealing with all the same things like that. So I would say, yes, no, it's universal.
Awesome. So, reading this book, what is the biggest takeaway that the reader will receive?
Hopefully peace of mind. Hopefully some joy and some comfort, okay, I'm not doing something wrong. If I'm thinking like this, I'm not thinking wrong. I mean, I'm allowed to think like this. I'm allowed to voice my opinions. I'm allowed to do it, and not just like, okay, I can't do it. I can't say what I want to say. I can't speak my heart out. I'm allowed to do it, hopefully.
I think it's a wonderful concept. There are so many girls who don't have mothers. There's so many women who have unanswered questions. There's so many
Yes.
mothers who are looking for a pattern on how to guide their children. So I think
Yes.
what you've done is so beautiful. I really look forward to reading it. I look forward to sharing it with my loved ones. And I'm so glad that it's open to everyone, and it's not necessarily a religious book. It's not necessarily
No,
tailored to a specific country. So I want to say congratulations. I
thank
wanna
you.
I wanna just commend you for being so brave and really using your gift in this time, taking the opportunity to make something great that can be passed down.
No,
So
I'm hoping that it would. I'm already hoping it's going to be a success. Inshallah, it would be. But yes, it's for everybody. And I'm very, very excited about it.
I think when you put your heart in something and you just commit to it, just automatically God blesses that heart attitude and it thrives. So I wish you all the best with it, honestly.
Thank you so, so much.
And I wonder, can you perhaps give us a little teaser, a little taste of what we can expect from your?
Um, yes, I actually want to read you a little poem that I wrote in the book. And this is not only personally for my daughter, but for every other daughter out there. And it goes like this. My little white dove, How do I love you? I cannot count the ways. For no amount of words or emotions can express how much you mean to me. I've carried you in my veins. I've carried you in my heart. I've carried you in my being, and now I carry you in my arms. An angel sent to me to nurture and love my pride, my joy, my little white dove. I've watched you close up. I've watched you from afar. I've watched you fall, and yet I've watched you stand tall. You delighted me with squeals of laughter and love so sincere, so giving and free, so whole and content. I close my eyes and a million memories dance around. I want to hold you close to my bosom and smell you again. I want to lead you to school and wave goodbye, blowing a million kisses. I want to wipe the tears and kiss the ear, listen to complaints of who did what. I want to fuss with you and then move away to our alone corners. I open my eyes to see not a toddler, but a young woman with dreams in her eyes and passion in her voice. I see the strength in her shoulders as life knocks her down. Her words are fierce as she stands her ground. Never one to hold back, she chooses her words and claims this round. Her talent so pure, her focus so sure. She creates from within, her mind a battlefield of thoughts and ideas. Her canvas is a door, her paintbrush the key to a soul so unique and a mind so free. I close my eyes again to see a battling soul. Amidst confusion and tears, she seeks answers as she cradles against me. A broken heart to mend, a personality to appease, values to instill and lessons to learn. Oh, my pride, my joy, my little white dove. When again I open my eyes, I see a woman, a wife, a mother. I see strength and admiration. I see love and tenderness. I see scars and inspirations, values and principles, yet also laughter and peace. I see my angel sent to me to nurture me and hold my hand. For as feeble as I've grown, I know now the reason that God blessed me with a daughter who has now become my companion, my friend, my little white dove. The end.
Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that with us. Oh, wow, I feel so spoiled and so honored.
So, as I said, it's for everybody. Every mother should feel like this. Every daughter should feel like this.
Amazing. I wonder, when can we get our hands on your book? When will it be
I was
ready?
just
And,
speaking
and
to my editor, and she said hopefully in the next 2 weeks it should be out. And then I will pass the details on to you.
awesome. And you're a part of the Mama Unicorns group. So as soon as it's ready, I will share the information with all the Mama Unicorns. Thank you.
And the title of the book is Mother Knows, Message to My Global Daughters.
I love it. Absolutely awesome. Feeyola, I want to thank you for joining us today. You're about to be a published author. And for that, we say congratulations. On this platform, Time to Sparkle with Rowena Brykin, we celebrate women. So today, I want to celebrate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Feeyola, you sparkle. You use your gift of words and wisdom to light up the world. The pearls of wisdom that you are handing down to the next generation are going to make for better people. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the success in your book. And I pray that God will grant you all the desires of your heart. Sweet, precious mother.
Amen. Thank you so much. And I've really, really enjoyed this time here. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Take care and God bless.
God bless. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.